Greetings from the land of OP. I am Rob, the OPGamer, and I am bringing you another episode of Build Spotlights. Today I'm going to be covering the Magmatic Dynamo. Anybody that might have caught this last time might know that I was doing the Dynamos, and I decided to split this up into a multi-part session. That way I can cover every single one of them after the other, because one episode for all 4 Dynamo types would probably be a little bit large, so I decided to split that up a little bit. We did Steam Dynamos last time, and today we're going to cover Magmatic. That's why I'm standing here in the Nether. Anybody that might have caught the last episode might be wondering why I'm starting in the same place. Well, it's because the Nether is the one that's got the lava, so we're going to go from there. If you missed the last episode, make sure to catch it on my youtube.com, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RobTheOPGamer. And you can watch me record these live at twitch.tv/RobTheOPGamer. And see when I post these up by following me on Facebook and Twitter at RobTheOPGamer as well. So we're going to jump right into this. I'm going to be covering briefly the pump. Covered this at the beginning of the last episode as well, but just so everybody is on the same page, the Magmatic Dynamos is a thermal expansion engine, basically. They're called Dynamos. There's 4 of them. The Steam Dynamo, the Magmatic, the Compression, and the Reactant Dynamo. These are what give you power in the thermal expansion mod, which is somewhat recently released. And they all put out redstone flux, which is the power source that thermal expansion runs on. And anybody that's concerned about using redstone flux on their own power system instead of before when they put out millijoules, which is the Buildcraft power source, don't worry. They convert instantly on their own, so as long as you have one of these redstone conduits or leadstone conduits against whatever you're using them for, they will convert directly to Buildcraft power. So no worries on that. All you got to do is just make sure you have those conduits in place. So Magmatic Dynamo is going to run on lava. It actually says on it, it generates energy, requires hot fluids. I don't know of any hot fluids besides lava. There might be some. Maybe I'm just being a retard, but that's what I'm aware of is the hot fluids. So we're gonna pump lava because the Nether has lava for days. That ghast has a fox hat. What does the fox say? Anyway, so we got just a simple pump system. This is all you really need for a Magmatic Dynamo. You can set up a couple of these if you find that you're not having enough lava. You can just set up a couple of pumps in different locations. The same location doesn't tend to work so well. I tend to like to spread them out a little bit when I do it myself. But this is a pretty simple setup. The pump is actually a Buildcraft machine, and it's pretty easy to make. We'll just cover this really quick. The pump is going to be a tank over a mining well. The tank is just 8 glass in a circle. Get you one of those. And the mining well is going to be 6 iron, a redstone, a iron gear, which is just a stone gear surrounded by 4 iron, which is just a wood gear surrounded by 4 cobblestone, which is just 4 sticks. Weird glitch where the helmet looks like a stick is still happening on my screen. I don't know what the deal is with that. But, and then you also get an iron pick, which is 3 iron over 2 sticks. Standard pick recipe. Not that big a deal. That's going to get you your pump. And the pump is being powered by 4 redstone engines, which are also Buildcraft. The redstone engine is just going to be all wood. You're going to do 2 wooden gears that we just saw, a piece of glass, 3 wood planks at the top, and a piston in the bottom center. The piston is just going to be 1 iron ingot and 1 redstone, and 4 cobblestone on the sides, and 3 wooden planks across the top of any type. If you have alternative mods installed, you might have alternate recipes going on, so keep that in mind. But that's going to be your general redstone engine. Make 4 of those guys, put them around the outside like so, against the sides of it. And then you just flip it on with redstone signal of some kind. I like to use the rednet cable. Rednet cable is MInefactory Reloaded cabling. It's from the MInefactory Reloaded mod. And the reason I like it is because it conveys all 16 colors of cable in it at one time. You just have to tell it what to use. So redstone, 3 redstone in the center, and 6 plastic sheets around the top and bottom. Get you 8 of those guys. The plastic sheets are made, you get 4 of them out of 4 raw plastic in a square. The raw plastic is just smelted out of a rubber bar or just Industrial Craft 2 rubber if you've got the cross compatibility going on. And the rubber bar is smelted out of raw rubber. This is World Gen. This comes out of mining MInefactory Reloaded trees, rubber trees. and they just have bright green leaves. They're pretty easy to spot, actually, because of that. So if you're running around out in the world and you come across those guys, chop them down. You generally get one per log you chop, so it's a pretty good source of those. I tend to make tree farms out of those guys. These are really cool because they convey all 16 colors at once down the cabling. So you can see that I've got this front part set to orange right here. If you look inside the cable, you can see that this is orange, and this is orange, and this is white back here, and white touching the glass. So this orange part, this orange side is facing this engine. This orange side is facing this lever. And they've got two orange sides facing these two engines back here, and an orange side facing this guy. And everything not touching an engine I have just set to white. And all you do to set those is you take any kind of wrench, crescent hammer, industrial craft 2 wrench, pipe wrench, whatever you can find, you just right click, and that'll change the color. So if I send this redstone, if I flip this lever for the orange side here, because it's on the orange face, it will send to all the orange things on the cable, but not any of the other things. So the white sides are not receiving signal. This side that I've changed the color to yellow, to lime, to pink, this isn't receiving signal either unless I switch it back to orange. If you shift right click, you'll back up in the colors. So you can go back to white and orange and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I got this pump set up. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go back up top and we're going to start setting up some magmatic dynamos to make use of this lava that we're pumping into this ender tank that I should probably also show really quick. Ender tanks are awesome. If anybody's familiar with the ender chests, which share inventories, if you put items in one, they come up in the other one. Ender tank is the exact same thing basically, except for liquid. So this guy is pretty simple as well. 4 blaze rods in the corners, 2 obsidian in the sides, a wool in the top, an ender pearl in the bottom, and a cauldron in the center. The cauldron is going to be just upside down pants, basically. You're going to use 7 iron ingots and make a little cauldron shape out of that. And so they're pretty simple to make as well. And all you do is they share inventory with the same colors code. So up here I've got this set to black, red, black. So any ender tank that's black, red, black placed in the world will have the same lava coming up out of this pump. So pretty simple there. Let's go get some magmatic dynamo set up so we can make use of this lava power. Alright, so once we get back to base here, we're going to be setting up for our magmatic dynamo setup. So I'm going to just cover a few basic things we're going to be needing for it just really quick here. What I'm going to be using with the magmatic dynamo itself is going to be some fluid ducts for transferring the liquid with the ender tank, as well as I've got some ink sac and rose red for coloring on that. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make these really quick. The magmatic dynamo, all the dynamos pretty much have this same sort of generalized setup: 2 gears, 3 ingots of redstone, and a receptive transmission coil, redstone transmission coil. The transmission coil is just a silver ingot with 2 redstone on either end, like so. And the 3 ingots of whatever you're using for the dynamo and the redstone. The magmatic dynamo uses Einvar. Einvar is going to be used by combining powders by pulverizing iron and ferrous ore. Ferrous is a world-generated ore, and you'll find that when you're out mining around. So if I look up thermal expansion here, ferrous ore, as you can see here, it's just a world-generated ore. And when you pulverize that, you're going to get pulverized ferrous, which is right there, pulverized ferrous metal. Also, if you pulverize iron, then you'll get like a 10% chance or so of getting just some pulverized ferrous at the same time. So you'll get it either way as you run across it. The pulverizer machine is one of the thermal expansion machines. It's how you double your ore. You put an ore in the pulverizer and you get 2 dust out of it. So that's how you get the pulverized coal, or pulverized gold, pulverized iron. Pulverized is just such an awkward word to say. It's a giant mouthful. That's what she said. So that's how you double ores with thermal expansion. The pulverizer is a pretty simple machine to make. You're just going to need a piston, which we covered already, a machine frame, and a redstone reception coil. The reception coil is made just like the transmission coil, but it's gold instead of silver. And then you get the machine frame, which is just going to be 4 of any kind of glass, 4 iron in the corners, or steel if you've got it laying around, and 1 piece of gold. It's pretty simple to make. That's the base machine frame for all thermal expansion machines. Every machine from thermal expansion is going to use one of those. Then you get 2 flint on either side here, and 2 copper ingots. That's pretty much it. That's all you need to make the pulverizer. And of course you have to power it because it's a machine. And so once you've gotten yourself some pulverized ferrous, whether you find the ore or get it out of pulverizing iron, in order to actually make the Einvar, you're going to take and smelt the blend, which is going to be made out of 2 pulverized iron, or 2 iron powder, one of the two, and 1 ferrous metal. So 1 ferrous and 2 iron, you get those 3 dusts together, and you're going to get 3 Einvar blends. And you use those, you smelt those to actually get the Einvar ingots. So you get 3 of those ingots in the Dynamo recipe, and 4 of them per gear, so you're going to need 8 of them total. So you're going to need a total of 11 Einvar ingots per Dynamo, and you get 4 of those surrounding iron ingots. That'll get you one of the gears. So that's how to do the Dynamo. I'm going to be using fluid ducts to transfer the lava into the Dynamos. The fluid duct is pretty simple. It's just 2 copper on either side of a hardened glass. The hardened glass is made out of using an induction smelter, which is another thermal expansion machine, with 8 obsidian dust and 1 lead or lead dust. So lead is also a world gen ore. You'll find it just as you're mining, and you can either use the ingot or the dust after pulverizing it. And 8 obsidian dust is made. The obsidian dust, all you're going to do is pulverize obsidian. 1 obsidian is going to get you 4 of those. So you need 8 per recipe, get you 2 glass. Okay. So basically, that's what you're going to need for the fluid ducts. Those are pretty simple to make as well. The induction smelter, it just showed you have to use the induction smelter to actually cook the hardened glass up in, which you can see I've actually got one set up right here. And the induction smelter is pretty simple to make as well. It's a little bit more in-depth because you need 2 Einvar for it as well. But once you've got the Einvar, if you've got the Einvar for the Magmatic Dynamos, you've got the Einvar for this. So either way, and then it's the exact same recipe as the pulverizer except for 2 Einvar instead of 2 flint, and you need a bucket up here instead of a piston. So once you get that going on, that's what we're going to be doing here. So let's go get these set up here. Back in the workshop, I started making this up last episode. Did a lot of off-camera work for this, just because I'm demonstrating most of this. A lot of building to be done. I actually extended downwards. I made a little basement subsection. This is an elevator block. This block is from Open Blocks, a mod called Open Blocks, and it's just 1 ender pearl surrounded by 8 of any color wool. That's going to get you an elevator block. And the elevator block is really nice because all you have to do to use it is to sneak, which is default shift to go down, and space, or jump, which is default space to go up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So yeah, I made a little sub-basement section. Hey, what's with this? Anyway, made a little sub-basement section just so I can put up more engines. Because I was looking around at this workshop up here, I'm like, hey, I got the steam engines, but there's really no more wall space for more engines. So this is going to be the engine room down here, basically. And we're going to get the redstone reception coil, or redstone conduit. This guy is also going to be made with hardened glass. All you need to do to make this guy is you got to get two electrum ingots on either side of the hardened glass. The electrum ingot is also made in the induction smelter. You smelt the electrum blend, which is made out of combining silver and gold dust. But you can just smelt the bars themselves straight, like 1 silver ingot and 1 gold ingot in that induction smelter will get you 2 of them anyway. So there's really no need to get the dust if you have the induction smelter. And then all you're going to do is you're going to transpose destabilized redstone into the empty conduit that you just made. And it's going to be 2 redstone is what it equates to. What you do to get the destabilized redstone is you have to melt down the redstone in the magma crucible. So you put like 2 redstone in here, and it's going to melt down into 100 millibuckets apiece. So it was 200 for that recipe you just saw. So 2 redstone per redstone conduit, and it melts it down. Then you have this export into your magma crucible, from the magma crucible into the fluid transposer, and then you put the empty cell in here with the redstone, and it will transpose it into that. And the magma crucible is going to be the exact same sort of recipe, except we're going to use 2 nether bricks on either side right here, and a leadstone energy cell. And the leadstone energy cell is just going to be 4 lead ingots in the corners, 4 of any kind of glass, and a redstone block, which is 9 redstone. That's all that is. And the fluid transposer is going to be the exact same recipe as the induction smelter was, except for instead of using 2 Einvar, you can just use 2 of any kind of glass on either side. So those aren't really that expensive either. Just a trip to the nether for the magma crucible is all you really need to do there. And then once you get that going on, 2 redstone, 200 millibuckets. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. If you've got the power to be doing what we're doing now, then you'll have the ability to do all that. So let's get down here, and I'm gonna just set up a really basic, simple setup. Let's just go with, I'm gonna get a cell. We've been using redstone cells, so I'm just gonna stick with a redstone cell. The redstone energy cell is going to be the exact same way. You make this the exact same way you just did the redstone conduit, except for using a cell. So it's going to be 3 electrum ingots, 2 lead ingots, and a conductance coil, which is the same as the reception and transmission coils, except for it is electrum instead of gold or silver. And you put those in this pattern around the redstone energy cell frame full. The energy cell frame itself is going to be 4,000 millibuckets, or 4 buckets worth, or 40 redstone is what you want to cook up in your magma crucible. Drop 40 redstone in the magma crucible, and that will fill up your empty frame into a full frame in the fluid transposer. The empty frame is made out of 4 electrum ingots in the corners, 4 of those hardened glass, and 1 diamond in the center. So that's pretty easy to make as well. Just a little expensive because of the diamond and all the gold and silver that you're using. But once you get it, I mean, I highly recommend using those as soon as you can. The leadstone stuff is really nice early game, early tier stuff, but I don't like to use it as much as possible. So I'm going to set this guy just right here, and the blue corners is saying that all these corners are outputs. So if we go in here, we can tell this to disabled low, so it's always operating. And so the corners here, you can see that it's got blue on all the corners, little blue dots. If you click it, it changes. So now it's got yellow dots on the corners instead of blue. Click it again, changes to orange dots. What these means is the blue dots is input, it takes power in. Orange is going to be output, it sends power out. And yellow is disabled, which means that side won't do anything. So you can see if I set this conduit down right here, you can see it won't actually connect right here in the center because it's disabled. If I change this side back, look, see it connects suddenly. So that's how that works out. Whoops, didn't want to actually break that. Let's grab another one. I'm going to grab an empty cell here so we can watch it charge up. And I'm just going to connect up a bunch of these conduits. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Sure, why not? Oh, I got 2 fluid ducts going on here. That's kind of silly. So for the fluid duct, the way it's going to work out is, you know what, I should have raised this up one. Hang on a second. Alright, I got these moved up a little bit here. Just wanted to set these up higher on the wall. That way I could get the conduits above and below so they're a little more visible. Set the fluid ducts along the top here. Underneath the glass there on the edge there, you can see. I'm going to string these fluid ducts along here as well. Just like so. And then I'm going to put the ender tank that we're going to use for the lava right there. And we're going to color these the same color that the lava tank in the nether is. So just like that. Now we got lava coming in. And we're going to set the magmatic dynamos up along the edges like so. And then if you decide that you want these, if they decide they don't want to point the correct way right off, sometimes when you place them down, they'll be facing the wrong way. All you got to do is give them a whack with a wrench. The thermal expansion wrench is called the crescent hammer. It's just 3 iron and a tin. That's it. Not hard to make. It is not rocket science. So now we got our dynamos going on. This is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 on top, 12 on bottom, 24 total dynamos. And I want to give this a whack with the wrench here, twice. So that stops the connection between that pipe and the side of the dynamo. So all you got to do is hit them with the wrench if you want to disconnect them. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take the ender tank and right click right there. And that will instantly put lava in all of these dynamos. So you can see they're already getting lava. They're already putting out maximum power. So this is 80 redstone flux per tick, maximum 80. So it's already putting out as much as it can. And you can see if we come down here, as soon as it got lava, they all turned on. You saw them all light up, and we've already got power coming in. Look at how fast that's charging. You're probably not going to start out with 24 of these dynamos, but hey, if you can make them, make them. That's what I say. Smoke them if you got them, right? So the last thing I would do here is if we decide that we want to be able to switch these off, we're going to need to set up a lever. So let's get some more of that rednet cabling we looked at before and just a regular lever. What I'm going to do is these are all set by default to require low signal. That means that if it gets a redstone signal, it's going to shut off. See how it turned dark there? Turn the lever back on and it comes back on. Or turn the lever off and it comes on. So you can tell this to be disabled. If you click the disabled button, it will ignore redstone signal completely. So you can see it's not doing anything as I flip that lever. If you set it to high, it will only operate if it is getting signal. So if I turn the lever on, it'll get it. So I think that's what I'm going to do is let's set all these to high really quick. And now they're all off. Ah, the magic of movie making. Quick little cut so everybody doesn't have to see the super boring parts. So now that they're all set to high, they're all off because they're not getting signal at the moment. Our charging is still going on, but it's because they're emptying out their own internal buffers. They take a little while to wind down. Yep, there we go. Now it stopped. So let's get these cables strung behind it. All we're going to need to do for this is get behind. So I'm just going to break a little hole in the wall back here really quick. And we're just going to pop out some of these bricks. Just down the length here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave just enough of a gap so we can put the cabling in. So I'm going to leave that gap there, close that, and we're going to go along here. Just like so. And I'm going to set all these to orange. I like to just leave white as the default, so anything that might be touching is not going to get signal if I put something on accident. You could just make it so that white's what you're using and change everything it touches on accident, but sometimes it just connects to the wrong things. So I just like to leave white as the default. That way I know where all my signal's going at all times here. And I'm going to fill this in here just really quick. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So we'll make this orange, this orange, this orange, just like so. Just got to right-click those bands. You can right-click the front face of them too if you don't have access to the band. If you can't see the band, but you can see the front face, you can click the front face ring instead as well. There we go. So we'll get that all covered up as well. And then I'm going to... let's bring this down this way, I think. And we can right-click this a couple times, set it to cable-only mode, which means it won't try to connect to anything, but it will still convey signal. There we go. And let's put the lever for it... let's put the lever for it up there. Why not? And then we just plop the lever against it. You can just right-click the cable directly. And then all we need to do is get up in here, find where that was. Whoops, that's the top of the base. There it is. And then all we got to do is bring the cable over here. What's with the train noise? That was kind of weird. And we'll just connect it directly up here. I like to set the cable only mode to minimize where accidental signal might come through. And then we'll fill in our wall a little bit. That way we don't have weird gaps. We want it to look nice after all. This is our base, right? Then like so, ta-da! Now there's cabling behind them, so we don't have to see the ugly cabling too much. And we just gotta right-click this lever to flip them on. Pow! Now we're getting power again. Ha ha ha! It is a beautiful thing. I really enjoy making giant power systems. It's one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft, is making giant, impressive power systems. And I'd say that this is a pretty successful build in terms of setting up magmatic dynamos. So yeah, this was a pretty short episode just because of the fact that Magmatic Dynamos, there's not a whole lot to them. It's really just lava. You set up the lava, you make your engines, and you're good to go. A lot of people will stay at lava power forever because it's just really easy to get. You just got to go to the nether. Make sure to chunk load your area. I like to use the Chickenchunks loader. I'll just show that off really quick. I didn't actually show it on camera too much down there in the beginning of the episode, but there is one down there. It's just going to be 5 gold and an ender pearl on top of a enchantment table. Enchantment table, this is a vanilla enchanting table. This is from 4 obsidian, 2 diamonds, and a book, which is just a leather and 4 paper. And that's going to get you your enchanting table. This is out of the Chickenchunks mod, which is included in basically everything these days. But you can use any sort of form of chunk loading. If you decide you want to use something else, it's totally acceptable. Just make sure to chunk load your nether area, and you're good to go. Because lava is so renewable, and, well, it's not self-renewable, but there's tons of it in the nether, because the nether will just go forever. So if you run out of lava nearby, you can just go pump somewhere else. So a lot of people will stay with lava forever. But this is a pretty simple setup. So we're going to cut that episode short here because it's a short episode. So stay tuned next week so that we can get into... I think we're going to do the Compression Dynamo next week. A lot of you, if you've been keeping up with the series, you've seen the giant setup in the main base upstairs where I've got those shiny little particles flying around with those machines. That will be next episode. So yeah, if you're super excited to see what those actually do, catch me next time for the Compression Dynamos, and we will totally get into that. So until then, I hope everybody had an OP time. Make sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter at RobTheOPGamer, and catch me on my channels at twitch.tv/RobTheOPGamer and youtube.com/RobTheOPGamer. Hope everyone had an OP time. Later!